Live from the WCTV studios, this is the Good Morning Show. Coverage you can count on.
Good morning, everyone. Familiar face, usually on the weekdays, but he's here today on the weekend because you're monitoring.
We got big weather going on.
A lot.
And we're going to have big weather, I think, for several more hours. So plenty to watch. Let's do it. Let's get to it. I've got the radar dialed up. These are the current warnings. And some of the encouraging news is there are many fewer warnings now than we've had for the past several hours. Now, the warnings are rather large in parts of South Georgia, especially for Brooks County and Lowndes County, where we have severe thunderstorm and still a tornado warning that is set to expire very soon. I'm not quite sure we see a lot of rotation with this cell, but boy, we see some strong winds and lots of hail, and that is an issue we're dealing with in parts of southern Lowndes County, south on Interstate 75 or even Highway 41. So we've got lots to watch with this for at least a little while longer as it races off to the north and east at about 50 or 55 miles per hour. More cells developing back behind it in the same areas that we've been watching them develop since 2-3 o'clock this morning. So that area between Interstate 10 and Highway 84 for Leon County, for Gadsden County, for Decatur, for Thomas, for Brooks County. These are where we've been seeing the same kind of cells developing and bringing some of that heavy rain, some of those dangerous winds, and some of that hail. And right now, some of that hail in parts of South Lowndes County is impressive. Now, as far as the rain goes, we get waves where the rain is super impressive and waves where it's not. The area that has the tornado warning right now, I've got it kind of circled here, maybe near Dasher. I don't see a lot of rotation on the radar right now. It looks like that rotation is weakening. But I certainly do see plenty of other things. Look at all the lightning associated with it. And as it moves very quickly, areas to the east, Lake Park and Blanton, that's where we expect to see these in the next 5 or 10 minutes. So if you are east of Valdosta in South Georgia, this is where we're expecting to see some of the nastiest weather move in the short term. But there are other cells developing farther back to the south and west, extending all the way down to the Gulf Coast. And as long as they continue to move along the same line, we have to introduce other threats like possible flash flooding and still more of the potential dangerous and severe weather with the wind gusts, the heavy downpours, and some of that hail. Now, I keep mentioning hail. Take a look at this little area here picked up by the radar south of Valdosta where we see some of the yellows. That could be as much as 2-inch diameter hail. That's really large hail. And that's the kind that can cause some serious damage to cars, to roofs, to screens, and all that. And then in that area around it, which is about the same area that there's the potential for some rotation, might be just that hail being picked up by the radar, not rotation itself. But in either case, severe weather for sure. And this is moving off to the north and to the east at about 50 or 55 miles per hour. So in a little while, it'll be across I-75, and in a little while from there, it'll continue racing off to the north and to the east. Lots to talk about with the weather this morning. The keys here are to stay inside and keep checking in with us. We'll have lots of updates. Find us on the Facebook and the Twitter. We're passing along as much information as we can on those outlets also. We'll be back in a couple of minutes with more weather. But now let's send it over to the desk to get a little bit of news.
All right, we'll check back in with them a little later. In other news, at least 4 people were killed and more than 20 injured after a tornado touched down in southern Mississippi early Saturday. A door-to-door search is underway to make sure there are no other victims. Wendy Gillette has the latest.
The tornado that hit Hattiesburg, Mississippi flipped this home upside down, toppled another, and ripped down power lines. Other houses are missing roofs. This one now has steps leading to a structure that no longer exists. A fire station and a church were not immune from the damage. The devastation is so widespread, dozens of firefighters and police officers across the state have been dispatched to help with search efforts. Students at William Carey University's Hattiesburg campus were inside their dorms when the storm hit and must now begin the process of replacing what was lost.
Gonna bring us together somehow. I'm not sure. It's a lot of I don't know and why.
Students were evacuated and the campus was shut down. Thousands in the area were left without power as crews worked to repair a couple hundred downed utility poles, with threats of more possible severe weather in the forecast. Wendy Gillette for CBS News.
The damage extended to 3 counties in southern Mississippi. State officials say they'll reach out to President Trump requesting a federal disaster declaration. Well, in other news, Samsung batteries are still a major concern, but the company is ready to announce what they believe went wrong. Tony DeCopel has the latest.
Smoking, burning, And melting Samsung Galaxy Note 7 smartphones are suspected of causing this car fire in Florida and panic on a plane in Kentucky, among dozens of other incidents with overheating batteries.
It's pretty alarming, because that could happen to any of us.
Now, Samsung says it knows what went wrong.
In a press conference scheduled for Sunday night, executives in Seoul, Korea say they will detail the root cause of one of the costliest failures in tech history.
According to a source with direct knowledge of the report, the first Note 7 phones overheated because of irregularly sized batteries made by a Samsung affiliate. But the replacement phones also overheated, this time because of a production problem with an outside battery maker rushing to meet the order. It's a humble final chapter for a hot-selling smartphone that exploded on the market last August. Dan Ackerman covers the tech industry for CNET.
This issue with these phones, it's already been hugely costly for Samsung. They had to withdraw their big new flagship product, and they're not sure if anyone's going to trust the next big phone they put out, and that's really a huge part of their business.
Samsung says it has refunded or replaced 96% of the 1 million Galaxy Note 7 phones it sold in the U.S. Problems with the Note 7 reportedly cost Samsung more than $5 billion, but the company's quarterly profits are still expected to hit a 3-year high. Tony DeCopel, CBS News, New York.
We've been getting a lot of viewer messages and phone calls about the weather and damage in their areas. What's it looking like for Sunday?
We're going to have more possibly significant weather for several more hours. Thanks to everybody, by the way, for your tweets and your posts, letting us know what is going on where you are. That is such a huge help, especially when it comes to power outages and severe weather. But just make sure, if you want to send us pictures and things like that, stay inside and take them. Don't be going outside into this weather. It's dangerous, especially in parts of South Georgia right now. We've extended the tornado warning farther east, but that takes it out of our area. We still have severe thunderstorm warnings in South Georgia, and we still have some really nasty cells moving across North Florida. We'll break those down. We will look at the forecast right after this.